Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Hello, Houston. I am ready for the event.
Luke Lukert, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Luke Lukert with WTOP Radio. How do you hear me? Station, this is Luke Lukert with WTOP Radio. How do you hear me? Okay.
Station, this is Houston ACR with the comm check. Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. How me?
Loud and clear. Stand by, please.
Station, this is Luke Lukert with WTOP Radio. How do you hear me?
Hi, Luke. I hear you loud and clear. Look forward to speaking with you.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And I'm just going to go ahead and start questions now. So, the big took off for this mission, and you were excited to be in space. So tell us, you've been in space for a couple of months. How is it?
Oh, yeah. I'm approaching 3 months in space now, which is hard to believe, but it's been a really wonderful experience. The first couple weeks, your body is still adapting to weightlessness, and you're still adapting to the pace of life working on space station. We have a lot of experiments, a lot of just maintenance and activities going on, and it's a very different pace of life from what I'm used to on Earth. So, it takes a few weeks to get into the rhythm of things, but it's been an awful lot of fun and really satisfying. It's something you train for a long time. And it feels really nice to be doing it and to feel like you're really doing it at a high level and contributing to our mission up here.
Excellent. And you have a pretty expansive background, not only in astrophysics, but the medical side of physics. And there's a lot of research going on the space station dealing with both. Just kind of tell us some of the stuff you're working on while you're on ISS.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, my background is in mostly in physics, but touching from astronomy and astrophysics through medicine. But one of the cool things that we get to do as astronauts is, our role up here is to really be the hands, eyes, and ears of hundreds of, if not thousands, of researchers from around the U.S. and around the world. And so we get to participate in all sorts of different experiments. Let's see, just this last week, I was helping to do some work on an experiment where we're looking at the physics of non-condensable fluids at different temperatures and helping to set up that experiment. And that's going to help inform us how we can store different fuels for future space travel. I was also helping to work on an experiment where we're a biology experiment where we're looking at ultraviolet light and how that affects the formation of biofilms, which will help us learn better about water purification. I'm also one of the I think some of the most interesting experiments are where we're both the helping the scientists, but are also the experimental subjects. So research where we're looking at things like how does microgravity affect the human body. Things like how our bones get affected by weightlessness, which can help us understand back on Earth. Not only help us understand future space travel, but help us understand things like aging on Earth and folks that have limited mobility, how their bones might get impacted. So those are just kind of a smattering of the things I've been working on science-wise in the past few weeks, and it's great to be able to do that and to kind of bring my background to bear in all these different areas.
So you guys are not only doing experiments, you guys are also the experiment.
Yep, that's absolutely right, and which makes it extra fun.
And you grew up here in the capital area in Potomac, Maryland. Tell us your journey and about how growing up in the DC area led you to become an astronaut.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I grew up. I grew up in Maryland. I would. I would often listen to you guys in the radio in the car. So I know WTOP well. And yeah, I think there were a few things that growing up in the DC area really helped me with on my journey to ending up here and to becoming an astronaut. I think I had a lot of really amazing educational opportunities. I went to public school, Montgomery County Public Schools, and just had an absolutely fantastic education and just a lot of opportunities. I went to Montgomery Blair High School, and the science education that I got there was I think, absolutely unparalleled. And it really helped me from a young age realize the extent of what you could do as a scientist. And the other thing that I was able to take advantage of was just the immense resources in the capital region. In high school, I got an internship at the Navy Research Lab in D.C., and I was actually working on astronomy. I was working with a professional astronomer, and just as a summer job as a high school student. And not that many places have opportunities like that for high schoolers to work as a scientist. And that really made me, nobody in my family was a scientist, and seeing that as a high schooler, what does a scientist do? How do they do it? That was something that gave me the confidence to think that, hey, maybe this is something that I could pursue as a career. And I think the other thing that's really special about the capital area is just the diversity that there is. As an astronaut, I'm standing right now in the Japanese module. I'm staring at the European module. The station is a collaboration with the Russian Space Agency. So you're working with folks from all over the world, and the diversity and just the diversity of the Washington area, I think, was really helpful in just being prepared to work with people from all sorts of different backgrounds and to be able to thrive in that kind of environment. So I think those are some of the things that I think were really special about the DC area that really helped me to get here.
Excellent. And a lot of children grow up wanting to become astronauts. You talk to a lot of them, and they say that that's their number one job. What advice would you give them for the kids who want to become an astronaut?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that was me as a kid. I think the biggest piece of advice I would have is to keep your dream and keep being curious and follow it. I think I will say I think I got very you need to have a fair bit of luck to end up as an astronaut, but you also need to work really hard and to put yourself in a position to take advantage if that luck were to come around. And I know for me, I think by the time I was around age 11, I was like, being an astronaut, that's not realistic. There's not any, there's so few astronauts, but the idea of space exploration still inspired me and led me to pursue science, which I don't think I would have been able to do if I hadn't had this dream of being an astronaut. And so what I would say is follow that dream, because it'll take you someplace really interesting and it'll inspire you to be your best self. And so keep following your dream, and you never know what might happen. If you follow your dream, you'll put yourself in a good position to take advantage of any opportunities that come up.
And I think your story is a great example of following that dream, and it takes you to different places. You're interested in astrophysics and studied that, and then you switched over to medical physics. How does that occur? What led you to that field?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So, as a kid, I always wanted to be an astronaut, and that led me to having an interest in physics and astronomy and space in general. And to be an astronomer, you really are working as a physicist. And so, I developed this love of physics. And while I was in graduate school doing astronomy research, I also actually the year before I went to graduate school, I continued. Actually, took a year off and worked at the Naval Research Lab and also at Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt. So I was sort of local, taking a year off between college and graduate school, and I volunteered at our local volunteer fire department in Rockville. And, I just thought it would be something fun and interesting to do. But getting my certification as an EMT, I realized that medicine was actually really interesting and fulfilling. I really loved the fact that at the end of the day, you had directly and immediately helped somebody. And so I kind of got this bug in my head that medicine is something that was really interesting to me. And towards the end of graduate school, I'd never heard of medical physics before as a career option, but heard about it through one of my friends, and I thought, hey, this could be a really great way to mesh my love of physics and love of that type of science with helping people, and that's what led me to switch to medical physics.
And you are aboard of the ISS now, been there for 3 months, have a couple of months left to go. Just tell us what life is like aboard the ISS. I know it's not the biggest living quarters for you guys there. So just tell us what it's like living there, and again, living there with people from around the world.
Yeah, it's a really nice, it's a really fun time up here. We work pretty hard and we work long hours, but it's really great because we're also supported by a huge team on the ground of from again all over the world that helps us to get our mission done. It's not the biggest space, but it's actually pretty spacious. There's 7 of us up here right now, and the way that people describe it is it's maybe similar to the size of a 5-bedroom house. So, it's like living with roommates, but I never, I feel like I've got plenty of space. We have a relatively busy day. We're kind of working on various experiments, from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. But we do get a few hours every day to exercise, which is really important for keeping your body in good shape in weightlessness, so that when we return to Earth, we're able to, we can get back up and walking pretty soon. But every day is different, and the experiments we work on are all very different. Some days we're really focused on maintaining and fixing systems or upgrading systems on the space station. Other days we're doing more science. Some days we're getting ready for spacewalks. So it's all a lot of variety, which also keeps it really fun.
Sounds like you have to be a science Swiss Army knife while you're up there.
Absolutely. It's honestly one of the things I think is most fun about being an astronaut is you really are a jack of all trades. And, I was working on fixing or maintaining the water reclamation system this morning. I'm going to be doing some science in a glove box tomorrow. And it just keeps it exciting because it's not the same thing every day. Every day is different.
Excellent. And tell us just a little bit about one thing I've always been curious about is, how do you guys sleep? Obviously, you got gravity, so you can't sleep on a bed. So how do you sleep and just stay in one spot rather than just floating around the space station and bumping into things?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one we get a lot. So we all have individual rooms or sleeping quarters. It's about the size of I'll I guess show my age. It's about the size of a telephone booth, but it's your own sort of room. And the sleeping bag is actually sort of standing up on the wall of the room, which it feels strange at first, but it's a sleeping bag, kind of like a mummy sleeping bag for camping, where you're strapped into it and it has a little bit of a hood, and it actually has some holes that you can stick your arms out if you want, and so you're actually are up on the wall, but because of weightlessness, being floating on the wall is just about the same as lying down on a bed. It's actually very comfortable. It feels floating in the space station feels like floating in a swimming pool in some senses, and so it's actually been some of the most comfortable sleep of my life.
I imagine it can get real dark up there, so that's pretty nice little added benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Although we've got so many laptops and so much scientific equipment around the station, there's lots of LEDs around. But in our crew quarters, it can get nice and dark.
And I heard that you were interested in photography and really interested in taking photos of the Earth personally while you were up there. Just tell us how that's going, and tell us. I imagine it's a beautiful sight being suspended above the Earth and being able to look down on it.
Absolutely. It's been one of the things that just I thought was going to be incredibly breathtaking, and I mean has lived up and if not exceeded all expectations. We do have some downtime in the evenings and on the weekends, and I try to use as much of that as I can to look out the window because it's just such a special view. From up here at around 250 miles up, you can plainly see the curve of the Earth, and you can plainly see, entire countries underneath you in one view. And it's one of those things where it's looking out the window. It's hard to capture just the scale and the just beauty of our planet. And so it's been a lot of fun to try to learn more about photography, to try to capture as much of that as possible to share with folks back home, because it's such a special viewpoint. I want to share it with as many people as I can. Some of the things I've been most excited about taking photos of have been some of the incredible northern lights or aurora borealis that we've been able to see up here. It's just absolutely breathtaking, and it's something I'm really excited to share with folks around the world.
That's incredible. I imagine seeing those northern lights is quite beautiful. Any other sites that you've taken pictures of that you've just been kind of blown away by? Obviously, DC would be a great one to take a picture of, but there's probably a lot of light pollution. Anything else? I imagine you've seen the Great Wall of China, all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I've actually gotten a couple of good pictures of DC already. I took one right after the big snowstorm that we just had, and it's really cool because you could kind of see the whole area blanketed in white, but the outlines of the city streets become very clear because of where the plows have been. So that's kind of a neat thing to see. But you mentioned light pollution. Actually, one of my favorite things to do has been to take pictures of cities at night. I think that the planet just looks so beautiful at night, where you can see the patterns of cities and where sort of humans live. That's been, I think, really special to me, because it also makes me feel connected to the people back on Earth. It makes me feel very connected to that. But you can get just very beautiful views of the patterns of city lights and the lights along rivers. One really cool one is the Nile River. As you fly over that, you can see it's at night. It almost looks like a band of light that traverses through Africa. Because that's where a lot of people live, just sort of in the area right near the river. So it's just really beautiful to see.
And before I let you go, anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
I think one of the things I'd love to say is just that it was really DC was a really wonderful place to grow up, and there's so many things that you can take advantage of with the museums and the culture and just the all of the resources of the area. Like it's a great place to grow up, and I really miss it and look forward to coming back to it when I'm back down on Earth in a few months. So it's been really great.
Well, Chris, we look forward to welcoming you back to the city and hope to see you soon. Good luck on your mission, and we'll see you in a couple of months.
Absolutely. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too, sir. Take care.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.